In our first training video, we went to our system defaults and defaulted specific information for our collections module. Let's go ahead and review that now. We went to Utilities, System Defaults. We'll click on our AR Control Center. And remember defaulting our collections filter to Collector. Because I'm logged in as myself and I am assigned to specific work list, when I click on my collections icon, I will be automatically pulled into my collection defaults. Our other options are responsible party, patient, work list, last action, or follow-up action. So again, if I defaulted any of these other options, when I click on my collections icon, it would then pull me to this setup. We'll go ahead and close this screen for now, and we'll click on our collections icon. Another way of getting into the collections module is by clicking on the word modules, hovering over AR Control Center, and clicking on collections. For now though, we'll go ahead and just click on it through this icon. Okay, we'll go ahead and review the collections screen. We have our search by filter, which is defaulted to a collector because that's our system defaults. Again, we have the options of sorting by responsible party, patient, work list, last action, or follow-up action. When we select one of our search by options, we get a new filter criteria that would be associated with that search by feature. We can reload our screen to reset it. Our view detail would go ahead and view the detail of a patient that is selected or highlighted blue. You can also double click on a patient to get that option. Show only accounts with action due. If we had accounts that we've been working and we don't have a follow-up date until maybe next week, they would be removed from our list. But if we uncheck this box, it'll show all accounts that are outstanding regardless of when their due dates to work them are. Our filter options, if we selected one of these gray headers, so I'll go ahead and do like account and click my reload, it will then filter or sort those options. We have our 1 through 8. We have 8 patients in total. There's normally 50 patients per page, up to 500 pages per work list. So if you have more than 500 pages per work list, you will want to go in and create a new work list and break those patients out into something less than 500, because it will not allow you to scroll into a work list with more than 500 patients. You would be stopped at the 500 page level and you wouldn't be able to see the other patients that are on your work list option. Down at the bottom, we have our work list. We are in Blue Cross Blue Shield 90 plus. There's a total of 8 accounts. This is the family portion, this is the insurance portion, and then this is the total outstanding that I would be working on. From this screen, we can go ahead and do our double click, or again, select view detail. Now again, when I'm in here, I can go ahead and hover over a patient and it's going to show me who my responsible party is and all patients associated with that responsible party. Let's go ahead and double click on Bart Simpson. Okay, this is my account detail screen and I'm going to go ahead and scroll it up a bit so we can see the rest of the screen from the bottom down. We're going to start from over here. We have our close feature. We can arrow over from patient to patient. So I'm going to arrow and it's going to take me to my next patient, or I can arrow back to my one patient I was on, or scroll over. So it's going to allow you to scroll from patient to patient instead of having to close this screen and going back into our collections work list like this. And notice how I'm highlighted on Jeff Bradley because that was the last patient I was on. So again, I'll double click on Bart Simpson. Our update buckets allows us to see the most current information on this account. So maybe somebody was working on the account earlier. I could go ahead and click my update buckets, select OK, and it's going to recalculate to make sure that everything is current. We can view our last statement, the date that the statement was sent, the balance of the statement, the last payment that the patient made to us, the date of the payment, and the amount of the payment. As you can see, we are over 2 years old here. This account is seriously in trouble. We need to be sending him to collections or thinking about just writing off the account, depending on the situation. We have our patients who would be listed in here, and if I double click on this, it'll take me to my patient demographics tab. So as you see, we're on our patient demographics. Now we can leave this screen up if we'd like, and then down here on our toolbar, we can click our collections, or we could go ahead and just close this out and it'll take us back to our collections. Our next screen over here is our responsible party information. It gives us our responsible party account number, which is tied to their statements, their name, home phone number, work, sex, and their address. Then we have our accounts receivable buckets. This is our family unapplied, our family insurance, our patient, and our patient insurance. And then this is their aging buckets, how much money is sitting in each section, and then the total that is outstanding. From here, we go to our insurance coverage. Now you will see active and inactive accounts in here. You can hover over and get additional information. If you hover over your subscriber, you get to see their address, provider relations, carrier, and their effective date, and coverage. If I double click on this, it's going to take me to my patient's insurance tab. We are now on the patient's insurance tab, so we could go ahead and modify or review any information at this level. And we can either close our patient down or just select our collections module again. We also have our viewable line items, have our patient, we have our procedure code. When we hover over it, it'll reflect our diagnoses and modifiers. See if we have any with modifiers. There you go. The I stands for is their insurance, and the B stands for has the insurance been billed. Now currently these columns are actually switched around. This is the column for the I, and this is the column for the B. Is there insurance? These all say yes. Has the insurance been billed? These two are stating no, and these two are stating yes. Our data service, our visit number. So if we hover over our visit number, we get to see the total charges. Our provider, and it shows us all of our provider IDs. Our carrier, our charge amount, our paid amount, patient balance, insurance balance, our total balance, and then our past due days. If we wanted to identify what the burgundy or the red stands for, we can go ahead and hover over our history grid legend. This will give us our color coordination and description. So our dark red means that it's 120 days past due. From here, we can select a line item, and then when we do that, you can see your view detail option opens up. You can always just double click on a line item, or you can click view detail, and this pulls you into your charge detail screen. Now, once we're in our charge detail screen, we can go ahead and do everything we could do from the patient's history tab. We could add a note to this. Maybe we're doing a correct a claim. We could select correct a claim and then indicate our information on here. We could indicate that we want to force this to paper. We can do a rebill of this claim, although it's been requeued to be billed, so rebilling it may not work. Now, if we are in here and we know that we don't need to bill this claim, we could go ahead and check mark it, and then that will prevent it from going out. Or if you wanted to rebill it at this time, you could go ahead and select rebill OK, and now it's requeued to go out on your next claim submission. We can modify our diagnosis codes. We could change our patient or insurance portion. We can change our referring provider. Maybe we selected the wrong one. There's only one in there, so we're good. Or we can add a different facility or assistant provider or resident here. So again, from here, anything in the white fields, you can go ahead and modify and change your aging dates, your data service. Anything in gray you cannot change. You would have to actually edit this visit, which you would need to do at the patient's history tab. You can view the charge log, you can view the visit, add any extra insurance information. We can save our changes and close it. So I'm just going to save them and go ahead and close. We can demand a claim from here, just like we can from our transaction entry screen. Again, this is demanding a paper claim. This is not sending it up to go electronically. If it needs to go electronically, you want to do it through the charge detail screen. We would put in our visit number, and then we can select our insurance carrier and our carrier claim type, and then click our next. We can demand a paper statement, again, like we can from the transaction entry screen. This again is a paper statement. This will not cue it to go electronically at this time. So you can add your statement message, click your process button, and then print out the statement and mail it to the patient. Maybe you want to set the patient up on a payment plan. You could go ahead and click on this, select your dates of services that you want included in the payment plan, and then how much you want to collect a month on it. We also have our overview button, which again you get on your transaction entry screen. This is a nifty little area where you can come in here and view their account summary. So this is broken out by patient, insurance, and total. You can see their charges, their payments, adjustments, and balance. And then it's also broken out by provider, so you can identify which one is associated to which provider and how much is out there. We cannot print it at this level, so we'll go ahead and close that. Right now we currently have 4 line items, but if we had more line items, we would use our arrows here to scroll through to the next line item. We also have our scroll bar here, which allows us to see more information such as facility, any payment sources tied to it, the responsible party account. This is really good to identify. Sometimes patients will get 2 statements, and it's normally because each visit is tied to a responsible party, so you want to make sure that they're tied to the same responsible party. The date that they were last billed, days past due, total balance, and such. And again, you can double click to view more information like you could. The next training video will go through our actions and letters and action history.